On this episode of China Uncensored, call all you want, but there's no one home, and you're not gonna reach my $1,000 iPhone. Speaking of not using your phone, then it's re-education camp for you. And finally, China comes up with a great way to make money off saving the environment. This is China Uncensored. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Breaking news, everyone. The CCP may be spying on people. We recently aired a 10-minute segment focused exclusively on how the WeChat app has helped the CCP monitor Chinese citizens by collecting data on every aspect of their lives, like where they travel, who their friends are, the content of their messages, even what food they like, and then sharing that WeChat data with the Chinese government. Well, it turns out there's an even better way to monitor people's phones. It was recently revealed that Trojan horse malware called XRAT was going around WeChat and another Chinese messaging app owned by the same Chinese company during the 2014 Hong Kong umbrella movement. It basically allows the perpetrator full admin access to your phone. In other words, it's like if you handed your phone to a stranger and told them all your passwords. All of your phone is exposed, photos stored, downloads, documents, any apps to other services installed, chat logs, phone records, contact lists, and of course, your browser and its entire browsing history, which may include credit card and password and login information. But before you jump to blame the CCP, there's no evidence that this app was created or spread by the CCP. It might just be a coincidence that XRAT happened to target Chinese dissidents and was found on the mobile phones of a lot of pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong. Just like it's a coincidence that Bruce Wayne and Batman are never seen in the same room at the same time. Speaking of monitoring people, WeChat users are freaking out about a new law that will go into effect this October. It makes creators of online groups responsible for managing information within their forums and the behavior of members. Not just responsible. The creators of those chat groups could be criminally liable and face both administrative detention and political consequences if their group members discuss one of 9 prohibited topics. Topics include news from Hong Kong or Macau that has not been officially reported by Chinese state-run media. So for example, if you create a WeChat group and someone in your chat group that you don't even know pastes a direct quote from a Hong Kong newspaper, you could go to jail. And if you've ever been on the internet, you know you don't want to be responsible for the crazy stuff other people say online. I mean, what if I were responsible for all the stuff people say in the comment section of our YouTube videos? Shelley, the CCP can't see our comment section, right? Because YouTube's blocked in China. Anyway, chat groups scare the Chinese regime because they're a way for a lot of people to share information, organize, and mobilize if they ever felt so inclined. Oh, and did you know that if you say something bad online, the Chinese government can lower your credit score? There is a silver lining to this, though. It probably won't be happening to the latest iPhone models sold in China. Not because it's more secure in any way. No, it's because Chinese people may not buy it.
Lots of supply chain experts expect that this phone is going to be over $1,000, and that's double the average Chinese salary.
If true, this would be a big blow to Apple. I mean, the whole reason Apple has been bowing to Chinese censorship demands is so they can keep selling iPhones in China. But frankly, I don't think the high price tag will stop sales. People are still going to buy iPhones. Not everyone. I mean, nearly 1 billion people in China live on less than $10 a day. Fortunately, China also has a huge wealth gap, so there's lots of rich people too. And how will their rich friends know they're rich if they don't have the latest gold iPhone? But with the $1,000 price tag, even the wealthy may have to make sacrifices, like the son of a billionaire who bought 8 iPhone 7s for his dog last year. Well, he's going to have to cut back for the iPhone 8. But really, what kind of dog needs more than 4 iPhones? Speaking of phones, I told you a couple of months ago about how the Communist Party is forcing people in the Xinjiang region to install surveillance apps on their mobile phones. Well, a lot of people have been resisting. So what can the poor CCP do? The answer is, send them to re-education camps. They've sent about 2,000 people so far. At first, 3 education camps were branded as counter-extremism training schools because they were for Muslims. After all, you've got to counter that extreme behavior like feeling uncomfortable being monitored at all times. The CCP imprisoned people and cut off their contact with their families. It's only logical that when you round people up, isolate them, and abuse them, they become less extreme. But the name counter-extremism training schools didn't sound so good. So the CCP rebranded these camps as Socialism Training Schools. Still kind of suspicious. But then they rebranded them as Professional Education Schools. Who could be opposed to that? It's like the Auschwitz School for manual labor and chemical engineering. What, too soon? Now, it's hard to find a place as terrible as the Auschwitz School, but there are lots of places I wouldn't want to be stuck in even for one night. Like the 2017 Alibaba annual party. When your boss is the richest man in China, you put up with some eccentricities. It's what you do. Well, at this year's event, a mysterious masked figure appeared, kind of dressed like Michael Jackson, and kind of dancing like Michael Jackson. Who could it be? Jack Ma, it was the Alibaba CEO. Then all the other slightly out-of-shape bosses joined him on stage for an even lamer dance. This wasn't really a first for Ma. In the past, he's appeared on stage as a princess. And, well, there's a lot to process here. At least Alibaba events aren't boring, unlike that 2-hour-long iPhone announcement. I mean, I don't even know who this guy is. And speaking of billionaires who do things in an unusual way, Donald Trump. Trump is likely to make his first presidential trip to China in November, according to a U.S. official. Trump will be in Asia anyway to attend acronym-based summits like ASEAN, APEC, and EAS. So it would be rude if he didn't drop by China and check out Xi Jinping's cool digs. Maybe he can also check out that flattering Trump statue in Taiyuan. Hopefully Trump won't stay too long, though, because a new study claims the pollution in China is so bad, it'll take 3.5 years off your life. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang has promised a war on pollution, so I guess casualties are to be expected. Now, China is looking into a plan to ban gasoline and diesel cars. It's unclear when the ban would go into effect, but I agree, it's a great idea. Switching to electric vehicles will make a big difference in reducing pollution. Now, cars can run on clean electricity from China's growing number of coal-fired power plants. Speaking of pollution, China is cleaning up the countryside. And the latest project? Cleaning up the 300 tons of dead pigs that have been buried in a hillside rotting away for 4 years. It turns out they were dumped there by a medical waste treatment company. Tragically, the manager responsible probably won't be indicted for this, since apparently he's already in prison for a separate, unrelated crime. Speaking of tragedy, the price of tungsten has doubled thanks to China. Tungsten is used as filament in old-fashioned light bulbs, also known as regular light bulbs. Tungsten is a hard metal that's also used to strengthen industrial tools. Tungsten is hard on the environment, too. That's the reason China gave for putting a quota on the output of tungsten. Technically, China already had a quota, but in June they announced that this time they're going to be enforcing that quota for realsies. This was a smart move by China, because China mines 80% of the world's tungsten, and the restrictions have made the price of tungsten double in the last 3 months. Of course, this move is all about protecting the environment. Those mines are so polluting, they just had to be shut down. Ka-ching. China has us by the precious metals. And coming up after the break, we'll take a look at a fair and open trial in China. I know, you're upset about the price of tungsten. But if you really want to light up your day, go to ChinaUncensored.tv. Every Friday, we upload full half-hour episodes of the show for free. And that's more precious than gold or tungsten. So head over to ChinaUncensored.tv now.